Wanna see me swim up to the great Zapfish and back? Wanna see me do it again? Hello my ink-dwelling friends, it's time for another Splatoon 2 Superfresh guide. Today I'm going to teach you about some advanced techniques which you can use to stay alive in combat or move faster around the map. Before I can teach you the first trick, we need to take a quick look at this clip of me swimming back and forth. At each turn, I take quite a while to switch directions. This is because my Octo is carrying momentum in the direction I was previously going. In order to turn around faster, I would need to find a way to kill my momentum. Guess what? Starting my sub-weapon animation will do just that. You don't actually need to use your sub-weapon to lose the momentum. You only need to press R to start the animation, then you're free to immediately cancel back into swimming by pressing LZ. This action is called a sub-strafe. Okay, cool, so you can go back and forth really fast. Yay. Aside from that, it can be used to juke enemies trying to shoot at you, or simply make faster turns around corners. As you can see, the time saved is minimal, but in Splatoon, every moment counts. Here is a comparison showing that from the standing position, it is actually faster to start moving by sub-strafing rather than just straight up swimming. Sub-strafing appears to allow you to get up to maximum swim speed much faster, so keep this in mind when attempting to make a large jump in a spot where you don't have much room to build up any speed. Now, here is another important comparison. Going from shooting to swimming is just as fast as sub-strafing. This means you should always try to start swimming by sub-strafing, but if you are already shooting, then it will be just as fast to start swimming without a sub-strafe. So doing something like sub-strafing out of your shooting animation would be pointless. I attempted to use a sub-strafe to cancel the end lag of some slow shooting weapons, and it did not work. But I encourage you to test that out with your own favorite weapon, just in case it only works with a specific weapon or a certain sub-weapon or something like that. So basically, the shooting animation seems to have the same momentum killing properties as the sub-weapon animation. The only difference is that the shooting animation cannot be cancelled, so it is slightly slower to use if you only want to switch directions. It is still a useful option because it gives you the ability to shoot in between your directional switches. This technique is called a Splat dash. While holding the Rainmaker, you won't have access to your sub-weapon to do a sub-strafe. Luckily, the Rainmaker's regular ZR shooting animation is able to be cancelled, allowing you to use the ZR button the same way you use the sub-weapon button to do a sub-strafe whenever you're holding the Rainmaker. This alternate technique is also able to be used with weapons like Splat links and chargers by cancelling their charging animation. While using any special that allows you to perform any animation with the R button, that animation can also be used to cancel into a sub-strafe. For example, with Inkstorm and the Ultra Stamp, pressing R allows you to throw something. That animation can be cancelled into a sub-strafe. Now that you are familiar with all the fastest ways to swim, it's time to apply what we've learned. Sub-strafing can be used to traverse the map faster when coming around corners or while going up ramps. It should also be used when the situation calls for you to immediately switch directions or just stop moving. Where it really gets juicy is when applying these techniques in combat. When approaching a sniper, for example, it is wise to use sub-strafes to make yourself a less predictable target. When you are fighting an opponent who is within range to shoot back, make sure not to stay in one spot for too long. You can do this by using the Splat dash technique to reposition yourself in between each attack, even if it's just slightly, in order to make your opponent miss if they aim where you were shooting from before. Combine Splat dashes with sub-strafes to make your opponent's head spin, and you'll come out of battle alive. Don't forget to also apply the more basic techniques we learned in the Superfresh aiming and movement guide. Speaking of that video, there's something we need to talk about. That guide has almost 1,000 views and only 74 likes at the time of this recording. I know some of you are already liking and commenting, and I'm so grateful to you for helping me make my videos a place where people can learn. But I'm talking to the rest of the Splatoon community watching here. It's not the end of the world to me if nobody gives my videos any likes. I just want to make good educational content to support the growth of Splatoon's competitive scene. If you really want to help me out on that mission, then we gotta do a little better than this. So please, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw here today. Feel free to leave a comment if you have a question or the answer to somebody else's question. There is a part 2 to the Superfresh movement guide, but I think it's for the best that I only introduce a few advanced techniques at a time, otherwise the video could be a bit overwhelming for some people. Imagine coming straight from the aiming and movement guide to this video. If you really want to see part 2 as soon as possible, then you should leave a like, because I will work my butt off to get that video out extra early if this video ends up getting a whole bunch of likes. Let's say 100. Regardless of what buttons you decide to click today, I would like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Psych! We're not done here. If you stuck around this long, then I'll give you some bonus tips to help you implement these techniques into your gameplay, since it was and still is pretty difficult for me to do myself. The best way to learn is to force yourself to practice. Once you're able to pull off these techniques flawlessly with the dummies, take it into a real game. For one whole game, I want you to force yourself to use one of these techniques in combat or while moving around the map every chance you get. You're probably going to end up accidentally using a lot of sub-weapons, but trust me, it will be worth it. Try to think ahead about what moves you want to make in order to prepare your brain for the inputs it needs to make on the controller to execute your plan. If you really focus on practicing these skills at least once per play session, you're sure to get results. If you need more guidance, look up that SRB2 dude's video about sub-strafing, because in the second half of his video, he plays a match where he demonstrates how to use sub-strafing as much as possible in a game. Okay, for real this time. Everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, blah blah blah. Stay super fresh out there. Yo Cup of Joe, out. It's not a trick this time. We're really done here. Look, that's the end screen. You gotta pick another video or something. Try that one, right there. Yeah, that one. Okay, bye.